All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. It's been a while since I've done this one, but we are going to do the banking and lender section. So there's only 6 tickers here, not too many of them. Obviously, if there's anything you want me to add to this one, let me know. Don't hesitate to ask. But what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly to see what's setting up. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do manually draw myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. So we're going to start with SOFI, and I'm seeing some good positivity here, right? Clearly, you can see that this line right here is really driven by this day right here. When was this? The November 30th candle. I mean, obviously it's not 100% on it, right? Just a little bit of black in between it. But basically, we're taking the top of this, and you can see it lines up almost perfectly with the 50, right? So what I care about is breaking the 50 and then red, 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 turning into green, 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 right? It really looks like there should be a nice run to the 100 at around 525 right here. But again, it's been a minute. We haven't gotten over the 50 in a while. This was a nice little break. This was a nice little break, but definitely no sustained break of the 50 in a good while, right? Really since right here, since before September even, right? So August. It's been a while, right? So don't underestimate the difficulty of breaking the 50. That said, I like the MACD. It's definitely been green over red for a good while. We're closing in on the 0. You know I don't talk about the MACD number often, but obviously I don't want to be the negative, right? 0 and positive is better than negative whatever. RSI is a little tight, but again, I see the green right there, and really what I do like, I like that the volume, okay, it looks 50-50, right? But the 2 buying days have been well over the 50 moving average, which I like, and the 2 selling days have been well under, right? So still more buying than selling between these 4 days. So I'm really hopeful that we break this. I'm going to go ahead and set an alert. Yeah, 490. I think that sounds real good. 490 will put us over this. Will put us over that, and hopefully a nice run up to here, right? Because really this, and again, that's literally on that 525, 100 to the dot. This is the next green candle once we break this guy, right? So yeah, alert set. This does look positive, at least on the daily. I would be bullish here. Okay, so where are we on the weekly? It's been a while since we've had consistent weeks over the 8, right? This is literally the first week over the 8, right? So we're not even, I'm still talking about next week, and we haven't even finished this week yet, right? But look, we broke the 8 once, definitely failed it. We broke the 8 and the 20 and then failed the 8 and the 20 real quick, right? So it tried to do it right here, obviously failed a number of weeks after, over a full month actually. But hey, maybe this next one too can break the 8 and break the 20 again, kind of do a redo of this, right? And I'm going to just zoom out a bit. It's been a while since we've been over the 20, and look, the 50 formed pretty much right when we lost it, right? So I would actually say we've never been over the 50, and you can see the 100 still forming. This is a relatively new stock, right? It's only been a little bit more than 100 weeks of trading here, right? So SOFI still relatively new. Definitely a lot of interest on this 20. And look, the 20 is 510. 525 was the important number on the daily, right? Really, you can even say the safest thing to do is just wait for this 525 to break and then trade that to basically the 200 right there, right? Again, different risk rewards for different tolerances, right? So that was SOFI. Overall, I'm bullish. I still need a little bit of confirmation, but yeah, I'm really happy with what I see here. I've been pretty negative on this one for a good while. All right, Bank of America. So again, it's been a good while since I made this video. Bank of America made a really nice run up, okay? And actually, I know Wells Fargo did as well, so I'm kind of assuming Wells Fargo is going to look a lot like this. But it made a really good run up. It started to go horizontal right when it loses the 8. I always say bad things happen when you're under the 8, right? And you see it. It didn't quite give up everything, which is pretty positive, right? I'm glad we stopped here instead of all the way down here, right? And then what happens, right? It just tries to regain the 8, eventually does, and then just a lot of riding up, right? A lot is happening. We got really high with the RSI. Again, this thing got into the 87, right? So makes sense that we're going to need to cool down. I love that the 8's kind of coming up and moving as our support. Really, I'm going to set my alert for right here. 325. I think that's a really good whole number. I would love to get over these lines and then trade up here versus kind of fighting in this horizontal cluster, right? But overall, a real nice gain up. Definitely a high RSI, so I'm kind of assuming we're going to need a little bit of a cool down. And again, I kind of wouldn't enter this thing until we're right here. And look, this green didn't really quite go as quickly, but yeah, I mean, sorry, red, green, right? So we've pretty much filled it. There's still a bit to go even after we break this, so it might not even be too bad to wait, right? But yeah, Bank of America definitely doing a nice little recovery. And hey, the weekly's not looking beautiful, but again, we're at least over the 200. Last thing you want to do is lose the 200 on the weekly. I mean, you don't want to lose the 200 anywhere, right? But yeah, you don't want to lose the 200. So I'm glad we bounced the 50, kind of got that scare, but it looks like we're at least back in here, right? So this 3370 is a pretty important number. So hopefully we go up by the end of the week. Still plenty of days left, but you know, 3370 is going to be a really big number. One, it's going to keep us over the 8, and two, it's going to keep us over that cluster on the weekly. Again, I think I'm a little... I'd like SOFI a little better than this. I will say that much, right? Again, still some good positivity here, but yeah, I really wouldn't touch this until. And again, I didn't get in down here, right? So hey, if you've been making this way up, you're sitting a little more comfortable than I am. So I'm assuming, I'm going to actually zoom out just a little bit. I'm assuming Wells Fargo is going to look roughly like this up, down, and then clawing back up. I sincerely have no idea if it is or not. Nope, not Worry Bank, Wells Fargo Company. Yeah, pretty much the exact same thing, right? Worked its way up, came horizontal, came down, and then making its way up. Interesting, though, because you can see this one actually hasn't filled much of the gap. So I'm going to go ahead and create an alert literally at that 43 line. Let me know if we can get over 43. That'd be really interesting because obviously this is going to be really tight right here. You have the 200 and the 100, literally the last two on the daily, and then the 50 right over, right? Those three will be difficult to break, but I'm seeing a whole mess of red candles here that I would love to fill. A little bit choppy right here, but again, this green kind of offsets that red, so hopefully we would get another green at least up to here, right? So not a very big percentage. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I think I kind of regret setting this 43 because from 43 to here, that's a little choppy, right? But I said it, whatever, it happens. Doesn't, like I always say, right? An alert is not an immediate notification of buy, right? It's just, hey, come check it out. So maybe it'll do something, but in all honesty, it's a little bit tight of a window. But yeah, again, I think the same comments with Wells Fargo are on Bank of America. I will say the RSI is a lot lower on Wells Fargo. And again, the fact that it still hasn't even done this fill, I'm a little surprised it didn't make a bolder move up. I'm going to go back to Bank of America one more time. Yeah, this one just made a bolder move, had a nicer RSI uptrend. I don't know. I honestly don't know why. Maybe there is actually a reason, news related or fundamental related. I sincerely don't know. But yeah, surprised Bank of America is doing that much better than Wells Fargo. Again, safest place is going to be here. Get over that 50 and then trade above all the lines, right? That's definitely way better than that little fight, like I said, that we're doing in here. But yeah, I'm not necessarily bullish or bearish here. I still think SOFI is significantly better than both. Ooh, interesting. Rocket. Where's Rocket at? So today we broke 3 moving averages, all of those in that cluster right there. It's definitely a very minimal percent, but that's a pretty important candle right there. Whole lot of red, whole lot of green, and we're only right here, right? So there's not too much left, but there's at least that. And really, this is the only single one. After that, you can almost say there's still a good ride up to at least the 200-ish right there, right? Almost to the penny, right? So a good reason to believe we'll head up here. Of course, I must get some confirmation. This is a 3-candle break. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I want to at least, you know, hit that 783, maybe open it, get a good little gap up pre-market and just gap up there in the morning, right? But 3 lines on a single day is a really big thing. I really need some good confirmation. Loving this volume. Obviously, a whole mess more buying than selling, but just not enough volume, right? I need volume to get a little closer to 3 million than this 2 million we got here. I mean, it's 50% more, right? Like we need more volume here, but technically this is looking nice. We just need some interest and follow through tomorrow. Definitely under the 8 on the weekly, right? So not a great place to be. Again, if you can break this bad boy right here, we'll work our way up, and that should be good for the weekly. And then let me just zoom out real quick. What does that 200 look like? Oh my goodness. So we have pretty much never, because the 200 actually starts right here. You see this day, there is no 200. There is no 200, and then it starts right here. So we have actually, this day we opened over it, maybe closed over it. I'm not really going to zoom in because clearly it hasn't happened a second time. There was a single open here, but definitely not a back-to-back. A lot matters on this 200. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to go ahead and set an alert. Really, I'm going to probably set an alert on this line. All right, because in my head, it's going to take a couple days to get to this. By the time we get there, maybe it'll move a bit closer to this 806. But yeah, if we can break the 200 on the daily, it will be the first time ever the stock does it, okay? All this right here had no 200. You see what happens when it could get over the last moving average, which at the time was the 100, right? So I'm real curious on the 200 right here. And then we already talked about did we talk about the weekly? Yeah, we did talk about the weekly. You said it was under the 8. Okay, cool. And then 2 more, LDI. So Loan Depot, I talked about this one, right? Horizontal, looked like it was going to break. You set your alert for that one right there, right? And then once it crosses, it's been a nice little gain right here. I've said I like Loan Depot. I actually did refinance my house with Loan Depot. They had better rates than Rocket, Bank of America, a couple of the smaller, like, what are they called? Credit unions, right? So they legit, they won my business with their offering. So I have a little extra love for Loan Depot because of that. But look, again, same thing. This thing has never closed over the 8 over the 200. We got our first back-to-back over the 200. That's a great thing. RSI is definitely a little on the high side, okay? There is a good chance that we come down. Hopefully, we bounce on the 200 and work our way back up, okay? That's kind of what I'm looking for here. But look, 4 days in a row, all buys. All 4 days in a row, the volume was well above the 200. I guess you can say that one wasn't right. But yeah, a whole mess of buying over the last few days. Good things to see there, right? That's a beautiful RSI. You're obviously in the positive and it's going well up. I'm a little taken back by the RSI. It could still go up a little bit too, but I could see the fact that we've broken it feel good. Let's come back down, safely land on the 200 and then bounce back up, and that'll, reset the RSI and give us some reason to run up. Interesting, again, I imagine same thing on the weekly, right? So we have not been nowhere near the 50, and look, the 100 just started forming as of last week, actually. So again, Loan Depot is a pretty new stock, definitely started super high, going really low, but yeah, it seems like this weekly might be trying to turn around. And I mean, look, you see it, a whole mess of red right there. Really, if it can get over this, a whole mess of red to there. I mean, there's some interesting trading here if the interest continues here. But yeah, huge accomplishment to get over the 200. I think this ride might need to cool off a little bit, but all things showing, I'm not here to believe we're going to lose the 200 just yet. I do think we'll come back down to it, bounce off of it, and hopefully bounce back up. But yeah, it looks like the 8 wants to keep going up too, right? Which is also a good thing. So yeah, a bunch of positive things here. I just think, obviously I wish I did this video a little closer to here, right? We would have called it out, but good money was made here if you caught it. Last on the list is Lending Club. Definitely the worst one that we've seen so far, I would say. This is kind of starting to pick up. These lower indicators aren't looking that bad, but really, I wouldn't touch this until we broke the 20, right? I mean, the 20's been a pretty hard struggle, really, since about here, since that late August timeframe. I know another stock, we mentioned that late August timeframe too, right? But yeah, if it could get over, I mean, roughly speaking, $9, I think it would be a little bit safer, because then, you're coming up here. Not a monster trade. That's not quite 10%, but, yeah. Honestly, it does look like SOFI and Rocket, are probably the best two here. Let me just quickly look at the weekly again. Ooh, sorry, some hiccups right there. Not a great weekly at all right there, right? So obviously I'm not expecting too much on Lending Club. But yeah, if it could get over the 20, might pique my interest a little bit. But yeah, overall, SOFI and Rocket are definitely the most interesting. Loan Depot did a beautiful run. Reasons to believe Loan Depot might continue just longer term. But yeah, let's wait for that daily to reset. And then Bank of America and Wells Fargo did not look bad at all. They have a couple important tests coming up. So yeah, overall, not too bad on this one. Hey, I hope you're learning and have a great one.